Welcome everybody to the Institutional Scalper channel. This is the first trader interview coming out of the Institutional Scalper squad, so this is new for all of us, myself included. My name is Max. I've been trading with the Institutional Scalper for around a year and a half, and I've recently started the Orderflow course. Along with me in the group of genuine, hardworking and quality people is Brandon, who we have here with us today, and he'll be sharing his trading journey and the shift he has experienced since following Institutional Scalper. For those unfamiliar, the Institutional Scalper approach includes the use of exclusive methods and tools, including the Delta Zones, which come with a selection of setups derived from insights only available via Orderflow. If you're interested in learning more about Institutional Scalper approach, please like and subscribe, and make sure to check out the rest of the content on the channel. Or for further info, contact institutional_scalper on Discord or email institutionalscalper@gmail.com. Link for both of those in the description. So, Brandon, how you doing, man?
Good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm all good, bro. Thank you.
Awesome.
So yeah, please introduce yourself to everybody watching.
So I'm Brandon. I have gotten to trading back in, it was 2018 when crypto really started hitting the front of everything. And when Bitcoin started blowing up kind of big, I got in on the rush. Of course, I was one of the ones at the end. Then got hooked on XRP, and that was the beginning of my trading journey and collection, in which I ended up losing quite a bit of money because I entered in right at the highest point, and I learned a lot in the past 6 years, which has led me to this group. So all those failures and frustrations are starting to pay off now that I'm part of this group.
Right, okay, nice. So I just want to touch on that real quickly. You started out trading cryptos, yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
Mainly XRP.
Mainly XRP, which you
Yeah.
love to this day, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorites. It's a love-hate for sure.
So yeah, I just want you to touch real quick on sort of your trading approach and how, like, where you learned firstly your first trading methodologies when trading crypto. Where did you find those? What did that look like?
So the first it was just a buy and hold. Like I put $1,000 in, and XRP was like 220 something at the time, down from 360. Yeah. It was bad. So held on to that. Like, man, it's not doing anything. And then it still wasn't doing anything. I started getting frustrated. So then I started looking into like exchanges where you could go on exchanges and you could do longs or shorts or anything that could possibly, like do a 5x and try and trade it and make money back. I had no idea what I was doing. So I would just try and pay attention to any kind of news or what people were posting on either Facebook, Twitter, and I got wrecked. I had no idea what I was doing. So I shouldn't have even been messing with trying to do longs and shorts, and it was bad.
I feel like for most people that trade, that's like the start of their journey. It was for me anyway. I was pretty much exactly the same. I had no idea what I was doing, but we move. So from there, was it more of the same of that throughout the first couple of years of your trading, or when did you start maybe day trading or getting into more like lower timescales and whatnot?
It's about 2020 when COVID hit, because my wife and I own businesses. When we got forced shut down for 2 months and didn't have anything to fall back on. Right. People were trying to get unemployment, literally waiting on the phone all day long for 8 hours just to be hung up on and have to try again the next day. Yeah. So it was a scary time for us owning businesses, and that was our only source of income. Yeah. So I started looking into, okay, I have this little bit of extra money that I have from crypto, but what am I supposed to do with it? It's not doing anything. If anything, it's just going down. I waited 2 years just for price to drop. So that's why I started looking into like, okay, if I go on an exchange, then I can long it or I can short it and possibly make more money off it, which I started doing, and that didn't work out. So that's when I ended up going to Twitter, which is now X. Like, there's got to be some kind of trading groups where I can get in. There's got to be a way to do something, and got hooked up with I won't say the name of the group because I don't want to bash anybody, but it was a good group, I thought. And the levels that we were being fed were DCA levels, which, I mean, obviously buy when it's low, sell when it's high, simple case. But then how long are you waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
Crypto, that's 2 to 3 year wait possibly. So then they were offering like a higher level of trading, be it that where you could do higher risk margin trading. Got interested in that only to find out that, the levels that he was saying for taking these higher risks, price would end up tanking and I'd lose money. So I started getting frustrated and said, okay, I don't have time to hold. I don't know when crypto is going to go up again. Everybody says now, and it'll shoot up and then tank back down.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone on Twitter can go on and look up crypto experts, quote unquote, and find out that it's all a bunch of hopium, basically, what I like to call it. So I started looking into groups that knew what they were talking about, and Cypress was the one that popped up because I follow XRP and everything XRP. Because I still loved it at the time. Not sure I love it anymore, but I loved XRP at the time. So got me into this group, and then Scalper was the one that when I first signed up was like, hey, follow this. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Then I kind of ventured away from Cypress, and I was all under whatever Scalper was talking about. So
Yeah, you and me both, bro. So I just wanted to obviously mention DCA, sort of buying in at the bottom, buying in at the top. Was there any sort of retail methodologies, the sort of stuff that we know now to be kind of pointless and just not what they are made out to be? Or how much of that we were exposed to?
it was literally watch the market tank, and when it tanked, buy it at the very bottom. I mean, that's basically what it was, and then wait for it to go back up.
Right.
So every time the market would tank and you lose, like say XRP was at 60 cents, it would tank down to 48. Well, buy then and hold. And then when it tanks again, buy and hold. But I mean, what if it keeps tanking? Comes back to the price and then tanks again even lower.
Yeah.
It wasn't working at all.
So with that in mind, and now knowing what you know, looking back, what would you say that retail sort of are lacking in the most? Pretty broad question, given everything we know now, right?
You look back at it, and there's so many different ways to look at it, but it's basically the small guy is the fall guy, basically. Like they're exposing the small people and stealing their money, basically. That's what it is. They intentionally make market moves to get rid of, like we say, the weak institutions and the weak hands. And once they're gone, then they make the money off them. Little guys out, and it's repeat, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a washing machine of money. It's just the small guys always getting crushed.
Literally, it's the little guy is set up to fail automatically.
Yeah, so obviously you mentioned this is sort of like the middle of COVID? You mentioned you've got businesses and everything going on. So if you could just talk, obviously with everything going on, it was extremely stressful, etc. I just wanted you to speak on your sort of your outlook on trading at the time. Now, obviously, I've spent a bit of time with you now, so I know that you've got this sort of dog-like tenacity, like you're not going to back down. So I just want you to touch on how you were feeling at the time about trading. Was there any time where you thought about, right, maybe this is a waste of time? Like, where were you at with everything?
So I got into it. It was desperation more so, because when you have no income coming in and you're forced closed by the government for COVID and you don't know when anything is going to happen, it's like, okay, well, we need a backup source of income just in case. Because what if this happens again? If they do it one time, it could easily happen again. So when's that going to happen again? And when you got a whole family with kids, and my wife having employees too, she was so stressed out for her employees. She was more worried about them than herself. So I wanted a way to be able to have a backup for our family. And I looked into it, and the more and more I looked into it, it was high risk, but I wanted to do something. So, and of course, coming upon the group in Twitter that I lost money with, that was either give up or you can keep going because there's something out there, there's something that's going to work. But if you don't work hard and try and find it and do your own research, then you never will find it. You'll end up with the same junky groups that will lead you astray and say they know what they're talking about, but they really don't. And then you end up losing even more money. And of course, most of these are paid subscriptions. So then you got a little bit of a red flag like, okay, hey, we have this paid subscription. I'm losing money with them, plus paying them money every month. Like, what am I doing here? There's got to be a better answer. So yeah, so it was all about give up and give in, which is not my natural instinct, anyways. With where I was raised and all that fun stuff. So you just dig in and you keep going. You got to keep going. If you give up, then you're never going to accomplish anything.
It's push or pivot. There's no giving up. That's
right.
I feel like that's, for me at least, that's my two choices: push or pivot. Is this working?
Yeah.
Is it, where does the fault lie? If it's with you, then you've got some shit to sort out, or you can quit.
Right.
Your decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we sort of touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted to ask you to sort of go into like what is your end goals with trading? What does success and being a consistent trader mean to you? Like, what does that look like for you, and what does it mean for you?
It's the main goal for me at this point is my wife is a hard worker. She came from a tough family life. They're alcoholics in her family, had a lot of tragedy. So she could have gone down the road of laziness and not do anything with her life. But she went from working on her own to creating her own successful business with employees. So, obviously we have debts because of it, but she works so hard and she's such an amazing woman. I want to be able to give her the freedom to spend more time with us because she wants to spend more time with the kids, do more family stuff. But when you own your own business, it takes up a lot of time. You don't work 9 to 5 and get to walk away from the job and forget about it. When you own your own business, it's 24/7. So I want to be able to give her the financial freedom. We have the extra money coming in. I just want a solid, not be greedy, make a couple hundred a day, which gives us plenty of extra, and call it good. Nothing that gets greedy, but can make a huge difference.
Yeah, nice, man. That's good. So I think everybody wants that. I feel like at least in my experience, when you first start trading, maybe you're overtaken by a little bit of greed, especially when you're young.
For sure. Yep.
But as you get on, you realize that's not the outcome. I think there's it's not just about the money. It's very little to do with the money. It's more to do with the freedom that the money brings. That's
exactly. Yep. It's for my wife for sure, not for me. But the greed definitely led to losses. So that's a lesson that has to be learned if you're going to trade. Cannot get greedy.
Yeah, we've got some psychology questions down at the bottom, so we'll dig into that a little bit. So just obviously we've touched on your introduction to trading via crypto, finding a group on X, etc. Now coming into Cypress's group and then finding institutional scalper, what has that done so far in moving you towards those goals that you just mentioned?
I am already well on my way to actually realizing the beginning of those goals. It's something I never even thought was possible, honestly. And I don't want to sound gimmicky or anything like that, because you hear those kind of videos all the time and it just gets annoying and like there's got to be a catch somehow. There's got to be a catch. No, it's literally he's there to support you. He gives you everything you need to know. And if you follow what he says, then you're going to be successful. And it's not, it takes time, like anything. It's going to take time. And that's when you watch videos, that's the last thing you want to hear is, oh, it takes time. You got to learn it. Yeah. But I mean, he's a resource that's there every day for you. And that's the most amazing part is he's happy to answer questions. He wants to see us succeed, which is the biggest part of it. If I didn't have a resource that I could touch base with every day, I probably wouldn't have stayed in the group. I mean, he's the single factor of staying in the group. I mean, obviously he knows what he's talking about for sure.
Yeah.
And he got us well on our way, but I would have never thought I would be to the point already within what I'm 2 weeks into this Orderflow course where I'm $1,000 away from passing a prop firm evaluation, and then I'm making real money after that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane to think about. 2 weeks.
The Orderflow course is next level. We're not going to shill it too much. It sells itself when you get in there, right?
Absolutely.
So you've just touched on it a little bit yourself, but I just wanted to talk about you coming into the group initially just using the Delta setups, etc. You picked that up very quickly. So I just want you to talk about a little bit about so any sort of study techniques, how you've absorbed it, like what was that for you?
For when I first saw it, I was like, okay, this is going to be, I thought it was another fair value gap DCA level, like from previous group. Yeah. Yeah. So I started looking at it, and of course I was getting the ones for XRP, requesting those, and he was giving them to me. And then I literally asked questions nonstop to him. And I assumed when I'd ask questions that they either wouldn't get answered or take a day or two to get back, and he would respond immediately, which I was impressed with. Yeah. So then he's like, you got to learn these, and these. And the thing was, not that I was being lazy, it was just desperation, and I wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. So I was like, I didn't want to cheat on it, but I kept asking questions like, hey, would you take this trade or anything like that? And the cool part about it was he wouldn't give me that information. He said, you need to learn it. You need to know it inside out. And that was the best thing to ever happen was, okay, I kind of have like a photographic memory. So when I'd see the patterns in his examples, I'd take them literally, and then I'd struggle with it a little bit. So then I'd ask him, and he'd answer the questions, and then he'd give me real chart examples of it. I'm like, oh, right. I can't be taking this so literally with the patterns. I got to have a little bit of, it's not going to play out exactly like that. And then once he showed me those real examples on the charts, then it started clicking big time with me. Yeah. And just like he said, if you know those patterns, if you know those structures that he gives you and you use them with the deltas, it was even with XRP and crypto that's not volatile, and you got to wait a couple days for moves, or you could be waiting a week or two. It was still amazing to see it play out. I'm like, okay, this guy is legit and he knows what he's talking about.
This is a real deal.
Yeah.
So, obviously, coming into the group, you picked everything up very quickly, incredibly quickly. You pretty much blasted past everyone. Which, given the pressures, the stress that you had, I feel like that may have contributed to it in some way.
Yeah.
So, now time for the juicy bit, which we could probably thumbnail and put this as like the caption. Tell us more about your journey on getting 3 million funded with different prop accounts.
Oh man, that was like the best day and the worst day pretty much. But once I had the structures down, then Scalper was able to be like, hey, why don't you look at NASDAQ? Because there's volatility. You can trade every single day. Well, what's that? I've never day traded before. And then he informed me about prop firms. I'm like, this has to be a joke. This has to be too good to be true. There's no way I don't have to invest a ton of my money and I can make a ton of money. I had never heard anything like that. And I had done a ton of research. So it was totally new to me. So once he saw that I was capable to read the deltas and the structures, then he suggested that to me to try it out. And it clicked, but I gotta give credit to not only Scalper, but the group we were in. Like, you guys were answering questions to just creating our own group and having the answers and be able to bounce off each other. Yeah. That helped me learn a lot really quick. So my success is because of the group success. It's not because of me. I appreciate you guys calling me a beast and, kicking in there. I'm a dog with my attitude. But it really is a group success. Any of my success has come from the group and the people in the group. It's not just me. Yeah. So when I tried the prop firm out, I used the structures and it all made sense. And I did way higher leverage than I should have been doing. I was doing the 20 contracts, but with $7,500 drawdown on Apex, I went ahead and took the risk, and momentum made a lot of sense to me. So I jump in on the momentum moves after watching it. And I had copy traded my accounts because I use NinjaTrader to copy them. I learned that too. And within not even a week, passed like every single one. Yeah. It was 5 of the 250K accounts and 5 of the 300K accounts. I not only passed it, but then the first day, I made 16,000 off them on all the accounts. So it was insane, and I was all jacked up, and I was so excited. And it's mental toughness for sure. If you ever give up, then you're never gonna accomplish anything. You just won't. And in my lifetime, with my career being an EMT and working in an emergency room, a level 1 trauma room, life is going to get you down, and life can be way worse. So if you're going to sit around and mope around about a mistake that you made that was controllable and you had full control, own up to it. That's part of my playing baseball career too. If you make a mistake, you got to own up to it and move on. Learn from it. Don't make the same one again. Yeah. And that's the mentality I've had playing baseball. I was scouted and had a chance to go pro, and then I tore my rotator cuff. So I've had plenty of pretty big disappointments that, you just can't let it get you down. There's always something else, and you got to keep moving on and moving forward.
Sure. No, 100%. I'd like to say I've got that similar thing in myself, but I haven't got. Well, I feel like everyone's got it a little bit, and it's just a case of, with time, we're exposed to the experiences, and as you say, some people push through it. As we said before, some people push, some people pivot, other people just go, this is too hard. I'd rather watch Netflix.
Yeah, right. And that's just a weak mentality. No offense to those people, but I mean, you're never going to accomplish anything in life with that kind of mentality. You just won't. No. It's impossible. You're never going to go anywhere with it. And honestly, you do have that mentality because we have that group support. We have it in our group chats every single day. So you got the mentality. I've seen the trades that you do. You got the mentality. You got the discipline. So you're good.
It's
you're
a
there.
Work in progress. So that I've grown so much. Like, I said this from the word go for myself. It's like, even if I never made a penny from trading, the growth that I've seen from trying to learn how to trade is worth. It's well, you can't put a price on that. So
100
all day long.
Yeah, absolutely.
So slight shift, and we're not going to shill or sort of promote anyone too much, but we've obviously, you said that Scalper introduced prop firms to you. Before that, you'd never heard of them. I was much the same. I've said it to other people about prop firms, and everyone's like, oh no, that can't be right, it must be a scam. With the way that some of them are set up, it does seem like a scam. But in your eyes, who are the legit and who are the decent prop firms?
I've gone through a lot, obviously. I've seen payout proof on Apex. That's where I had my huge success and huge down. So I'm not a big fan of Apex at this point, but that's not putting them down at all. The ones you want to stick to are the ones that are going to offer you the brokerage at the end of the evaluations. Those are the legit ones. Ones that are just paying out of pocket every single time is... I don't want to say sketchy to me. It just, that does kind of seem too good to be true. And those tend to be the ones that are more strict with rules as well, like the fine print stuff. And you have to be really careful with those. Hence my issue with Apex, because they don't offer a brokerage. But Blue Sky is the one I've been really impressed with. I go off the support that you get to, like how quick are they going to respond? Is it legit? And Blue Sky, Take Profit Trader, Top Step, those 3 are my favorite as of right now because they all get back to you right away. Mm-hmm. They all offer the live brokerage once you've passed their simulated earnings account. So I've narrowed it down to those three that I would trust
Right.
the
Okay.
most.
No, nice. I've been looking at. I don't know if it's Blue Sky or Blue Ski, but I've been looking at that one myself. I think that's the way I'm gonna go, at least for the first few challenges. Now,
Yeah.
again, just gonna move on to, and again, for the people watching, we're not shilling anything. We're not trying to push anything, but
Ooh.
I just want you to talk about uh, the institutional scalper approach, how impactful it has been for you, which we've already sort of touched on, but
Yeah. Yeah.
would you and why would you recommend it to those trying to become a day trader, swing trader, full time trader, whatever it may be?
I'll start it with this. I've been super busy, and when I first joined the group, I knew what he was talking about. I'd literally ask him if he'd take some of my money and invest it for me. Not because I was lazy, I just wanted to get something going for my wife as quickly as I could. And when he's being honest with you that it could take 1 to 2 years to learn it and master it, it's like, man, I don't have that kind of time. I gotta figure something out. But the coolest part is he's there supporting you and answering any of the questions. But the number one thing that stands out for him with me is that he wants you to genuinely learn it and earn it.
Yeah.
So he wants you to know it inside out, and then he wants you to be successful, and then keep moving to the point where you don't even need him to answer any questions.
Yeah.
You know it inside and out, and you're going to be super successful because what he taught you and gave you the discipline to learn and do it right, you're having major success with. And I'm already starting to see that. I've only been with the group for 4 months now. And the Orderflow course, we're 2 weeks in for me. You guys are 3 weeks. I'm 8 or 9 days behind. And the amount of information and knowledge that you learn and being able to bounce it off each other is just insane. And it's all because of Scalper, what he teaches. And he's not giving you answers. That's the biggest part is, hey, here's the problem. What's the solution to it? Like, okay, here's why did this happen? Why did that happen? And knowledge is power. And he's giving us all the power in the world to gain the knowledge and have the edge when doing trading. It honestly is mind blowing. And I hate watching videos like this where people talk about it because they're just trying to shill something, but it legit is powerful knowledge. I mean, if we can accomplish what we have in 4 months and in the Orderflow course in 2 weeks, it's insane. I would have never guessed it was possible. No one could. If anyone told me about it, I'd be like, there's no way. It's not possible. There's some kind of gimmick. And when I told my parents about it too, they're like, there's no way. That's not. My dad has invested his whole life. He's never done day trading or anything like that. It's just put money in. They have a financial advisor that recommends, hey, put money in this stock. 10 years later, it'll be way higher. Well, nobody wants to wait 10 years. Like, that so much can happen in that time. Like, life's uncertain. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So when I explained everything to my parents and showed them, they're like, there's no way possible. And I started sharing screenshots of our group, like the chat, what we're learning, and then actual charts and the trades I was taking. They couldn't believe it at all either. If they didn't see it, they wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah, so I just want to add a little bit of context because we're here talking about things that it's easy to forget that the people watching don't have access to what we have access to. So we've got the deltas, which you've got a variation of setups off that you can use. The setups are derived from Orderflow, and you may ask, what is Orderflow? If you Google it, you're gonna get the wrong idea because it's not available to the general population. The only way that I can describe it really is you have access to the pulse of the market. You basically have X-ray vision on a micro time frame of what's happening in the market. And again, it's not a shill, but I urge everyone that's interested and everyone's ears that just perked up to hearing that to message Institutional Scalper directly.
100. And he's not going to try and shill you. He's not going to try and sell you on anything. That's the best part about it. He's not going to try and sell you on anything.
No, and you can tell he's in it for the love of the game. It's nothing. It's not about money to him. He could care less. It's it's about, it's his passion, and it's what he wants people to succeed, and he wants to share, you know, the success that he's had. He wants other people to be able to get on board with that. So
Yeah. He truly is a genuine person that cares
oh,
about other
absolutely,
people 100%.
absolutely. I see him as kin, 100%.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned back to the conversation. we, you mentioned that he started off with cryptos. That, you know, crypto is what it is. Anyone that's involved in it kind of gets a gist of what we were saying. It's like, is it ever going to go up? When? Crazy volatile, crazy manipulation, all this sort of stuff. So, going from trading that to then trading futures. What was that transition like for you? Yeah.
Intimidating.
Yeah.
It's intimidating. Like I lose money over a week or so, you know. So then you start trading with the NQ Nasdaq, and you're like, okay, I could lose money in a few seconds, and I could also gain a ton of money in a few seconds. Like it was just crazy. So the speed really set me back, and like I've told everybody in our group, the best thing I could do was, and people learn this when they start trading, the different sessions, New York session, Tokyo session, and London session.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch when it was less volatile and slower on the Tokyo session and just watch how you could watch the waves of the prices when there was buying and when there was selling. You could literally watch it go up and down. And then I kind of started to learn the flow of the market with it and start experimenting with different candles. The Renko candles really helped me a lot because they'd show the price kind of going up. And then if selling would kick in, then that momentum would go away. All stuff people will have to learn as they watch charts. But it was very intimidating the first week that I watched all that. And I spent a week watching it because I'm like, there's no way I could do this. There's no way. But then a scalper says, if you know the structures, you know the deltas, just keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that, keeping an eye on structure. I'm like, oh man, this 15-minute chart. Hey, we got a setup here. I'll take this trade on the paper trade and see what happens. Paper trading being the demo trading, so there's no money involved. You just fine tune your skills. And all of a sudden, I was being successful on paper trading. I'm like, man, this is kind of cool. And of course, scalper always wants you not to jump in to put money into prop firms right away. He wants you to learn it so then you're successful. And I got comfortable enough with it that I wanted to try the prop firm challenges. And lo and behold, I passed those huge 3 million total. And it is what it is now. And I'm back on prop firms, slowly doing it now, doing it the right way, like scalper says. Have a trading plan, and you have your goals. But the biggest thing is I also jumped in the Orderflow course after you guys convinced me to do it, and it's been a life changer already in 2 weeks.
Yeah. The Orderflow course for me, obviously Andrew, who we may be able to convince to get on an interview, he was on that from the word go. That was always his, like, you know, we're already learning the delta setups, etc. So it only makes sense. And this was when it was a lot more pricey than it is currently.
Yes.
But it was never a question to him. And then I agreed. I thought to myself, if I'm going to be doing this long term, if my aim is to become a full-time trader, which it is and always has been, then I'm going to do this eventually. Then I may as well do it as soon as possible. There's no point waiting to do this. So that's why I hopped on it basically straight away.
That's all my extra funds went into getting the course. I don't regret it one bit at all. No. It's worth more than what we paid for sure.
Absolutely. Even if it was the original price, I'd still be more than happy paying that.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Absolutely.
So just sort of touched on it a little bit. How for you, I wanna expand on this a little bit in terms of going from demo to challenge, and then obviously you've had some experience trading live accounts. What was there any sort of psychological change there for you, or was it all much the same?
Oh no, it's far more intense once you're doing the prop firm, and once you see some losses, then you start freaking out. You're like, should I get out now? Should I stop it? And before the order flow course, it was a lot harder to hold those losses because it's like, oh man, is this structure really going to play out? Because you could see quite a bit of money in the negative when you're just doing the structures with the delta setups, because that's just part of it. You're going to have the drawdown, you're going to see it, but it happened a lot slower that way, so it was easier to deal with. But when you're literally watching it drop really quick and learning, and in the learning process I'd have it drop down to 200 to 300, I'd be freaking out, mentally. It's just, I just lost $200-300, yeah, get sweaty palms, heart starts racing. And then up, you're like, oh, I made money, so I want to get out of it right now, which is still my struggle to this day, is how long should I be holding this trade? Because I see profit and I want to get out right away and have that profit, and then I'm win-win. I'm slowly getting there, but my trade plan is on every trade, at least make 100, and then 2 to 3 trades a day, I'm done with multiple accounts. But it's when you start realizing that it's real, it definitely changes the mentality, and you got to be calm, cool, and collected, and lose the emotions, which is hard. So you got to learn to lose those emotions. I would suggest before you start doing the real prop firm challenges, like learn on the paper trading to get rid of those emotions.
Yeah, I think for me, and from what I'm seeing with the content I watched, like most of the psychological content, if you have a plan and you've got setups, or you're looking for specific trades and specific like things lining up, if you've got that and you've actually taken the time to write a plan and you're following that, that's where the psychology comes from. That's where the mental toughness comes from. If you're just impulse trading, clicking your heart's gonna be, because you've got no idea whether it's gonna go up or down. You just see red and it's going against you. I'm not gonna swear, but you get the idea. But
for sure.
So I just want to flip that back and just say, like, for you, how important is psychology? And not only that, how much of the psychology do you think lines up, if this makes any sense, with what retail push as psychology?
It's the psychology. I feel like it's reverse psychology. If you're looking at like retail, they want you to fail. I mean, there's prop firms that want you to fail too, so they don't have to pay you out. The end goal for all the institutions is to make money. They don't care who they squash on the way to make the money. So you have to be kind of cold-hearted, like the institutions. You can't care about what's going to happen. You have to lose that. And the biggest thing is, like Scalper always says, journal everything. Write it down. Write down your plan. Have a plan. And if you have that plan and you have that knowledge of how the market's going to work, what institutions are going to try and do, and then you're able to see it, then it's easy to enter a trade and be like, okay, we got this. Oh, it went down $25. It'll bounce right back up, because we've seen this play out many times. We know their intent of what they're trying to do for the institutions, and it goes in that direction that you were expecting it to. It's like, okay, all right, we got this, and I mean, there's still going to be the unknown a little bit, because all the algorithms these days and what the institutions plan, they're still trying to win at all costs. So if they're trying to win at all costs, they're going to have the edge no matter what. But for the average trader, average institution, we are way above that level. And if we can stay calm and collected, it's a huge plus. And journaling all that stuff makes a huge difference. Seeing it play out, what played out, writing down what you expected, and then what actually happened, that boosts your confidence so much that you can go in and take a trade and not worry about it. Or like in our Orderflow course too, we see that, we took a trade, but something's happening here, we should probably get out of it, and we have a plan for that too. So if you're prepared, then it's a lot easier to have the right head place, the right psychology, you're in the right place to know what to do either way. And that's huge.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. So with that in mind, I just want to. We've touched on that. So essentially, if you've got a plan, if you've got a rule, if you've got rules and all that sort of stuff, that's where the calmness comes from. In terms of yourself and your journey, obviously you've mentioned your work as an EMT, etc. Obviously that's going to bring in some mental toughness, no doubt. Life experience in general going to bring in some mental toughness. On your journey so far, be it with the crypto trading or since joining Scalpers Chat, is there any particular work that you've done on yourself or any sort of hobbies or any sort of habits that you've dropped or gotten into in order to improve your trading that you can share with people?
I would say the biggest thing is calming down even more. I mean, I already had a good base for that. When you're in an emergency situation, you can't panic. That's the worst thing you can do. And if you panic, then your mind is scattered. You don't know what to do. You're unorganized and you're unprepared. Even though you are prepared, you literally unprepare yourself by letting your brain just fire off and go elsewhere. You got to stay calm and focused. It's just like people when they're in distress, they're screaming, they're in pain, whatever situation you're in, you got to be the calming voice for them. Your actions have to be calming to them. You got to do whatever you can to stay cool, calm, and collected. And that's where I had that already. But when you first start trading, it's really hard to zone in on that because it can be a little scary. And so I go back to, okay, I've seen all this. Go back to what it's like when you're in the back of an ambulance or when you're trying to save somebody's life, when you're doing CPR or like working with kids in emergencies. That was always the worst. There was abused children too that you'd have to work with, and you'd be sitting in the same room in the emergency room knowing dang well that the parent sitting right there was the one that abused their child and either broke their arm or broke their leg. So you can't let that emotion get to you either, the anger. So it's a lot harder to stay in control emotionally in trading than I think most people would imagine. Yeah. And that is going to be your biggest downfall. Mm-hmm. So you can learn everything you want to learn and need to learn on it, but if you don't have that emotional control and discipline, you're going to fail. It's just like in an emergency situation, it's not good to have that panic set in and not have emotional control. You got to learn the emotions. It's got to be controlled for sure.
100%. So that is all the questions I actually have. Is there's anything that you have that we haven't already touched on that you think would be worth sharing with the people watching that they could benefit from, etc., or if you just want to do a little outro, it's over to you, man.
The biggest thing I would say is I don't want this to come across as we're trying to get people to buy into it. Don't take our word for it. I mean, do take our word for it, but come on to the Discord. Come check out the chats that we have with the group of people that we have. Come see what Scalper's saying to us too. Like, he's there every day wanting us to succeed. Mm-hmm. He's helping everybody out. He doesn't have a bias. He has his students that he's helping out. We're the students of his Orderflow course. He still responds to the people that aren't even in the course, trying to help him out. He gives the deltas to everybody in the Discord. So come see it for yourself. Come ask questions of us that are in there too. We're more than happy to answer questions. We have a great group, and it started with just the three of us, you, me, and Andrew, and then other people in the group saw that we were chatting a lot and having the success, and then Scalper liked it too, and it naturally grew. And it's all a great group of people that support each other. It sounds so gimmicky. I don't like to sound gimmicky, but it's true. Come onto the Discord, come join us, come chat with us, see what we're doing, and I guarantee you can make the decision for yourself, and you'll want to stay for sure.
100%. Nice touch, man. I was going to say at the beginning, I said that and I reiterate it, it's the only group I've ever met where everyone's genuine and hardworking, all on the same page. There's no ego. Everyone's just there to move towards their own goals, like, but as
Yeah.
a group. So it really is a nice place to be. So I just want to say thank you to you, obviously, for your time and sharing your experiences with us. And it's obviously been
Yeah. Thank you.
great to have you on.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And then
And we finally got to meet in person, kind of.
yeah, well, give it.
Video
I'd
chat.
say 12 months. I guarantee we're doing a meetup. So
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
we've got that to look forward to. So I just
Heck
want to
yeah.
say, for those of you still watching, thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed and feel you've gained something from the content. We'll be back doing more interviews with the rest of the squad, and we'll have people back on as things progress. Remember to trade patiently and take care. Thank you.